this session, as we close the day, we'll make promises to each other as part of the resolutions. To say, fine, we've learned from each other, then what? Because there is no point in us just spending this day sharing knowledge and ideas, and at the end of the day, we don't practice anything, we don't put it to good use. So I will give you a bit of handouts in terms of what we're doing, and you can jot down notes where you feel like jotting down notes. But mainly we want to engage and to discuss. All right, and as I said, we will record it and we'll share it. I think some of the photos will be Mr. Kekik here. We'll also be posting online and doing some of those things as part of just recording this day and what we're doing, besides the report that I will do. Then the major challenge that I'm now repeating is that I challenge you to think around facilitating your own one day of learning event in an area of your choice, where we come together and you are passionate about this thing. As we look at this day, my passion is towards entrepreneurship as a sustainable solution to the challenges that we currently face within our communities and as a nation at large. So, and I'm saying, according to the words of Paul J. Mayer, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically begin to act upon, it must inevitably, without doubt, it must come to pass. But it starts with that vivid imagination to say, do I really know what I want? Do I really know what I desire? And do I sincerely believe that this is the area for me? Am I enthusiastic about it? And I begin to act upon it. It must, without fail, come to pass. What do you think when you look at that image on the screen? Who is that? What does that make you think? By just looking at that,
I think that guy had a very big dream.
Africa
is not a small piece of land. But he is imagining conquering the whole of Africa, making it easy, putting Africa just between his legs. So it means that everything about Africa becomes easy, whether big or small. So I think he had a very big vision of himself and what he wanted.
Anyone else who wants to share what their thoughts are? Thank you, Mr. Yes, Mr. Pastor.
The only method, as you can see, is carrying a gun. So probably it was other ways, ways of negotiating those who didn't understand, agree with me, rather than forcing them to line up with this.
That's good. Actually, I didn't notice the gun until you mentioned it. That's good. Mr. Sonzai.
I was saying, the magnitude of the dream is understood by the fact that he wasn't even aware of the challenges he was going through. But he just wanted to, because Africa, according to the European way, was uncharted waters. No one knew what was in between. But he still wanted to conquer this. Because if you check the maps of Africa, the old age maps of Africa, they are shocking. What they show, the details they put in, it shows it's almost inaccessible. But he wanted to conquer such a way.
These stretched arms, they actually indicate that he was open to adventure, opportunity, to whatever was coming in order to conquer Africa.
Open to opportunity.
It's like, I'm here, I'm going to do it, I'll conquer Africa.
Yeah. So what can we learn from this guy? The head.
Expecting results. Because normally when we go down the head, isn't it? the expectation of saying a
All right. He was expecting something. That's quite good. Interesting views and lessons already. We're learning just from that picture there. What else? What can we learn from this guy? Yes, madam.
For me, it's just 2 words. I can.
I can. Huh? That's the attitude.
That's what people just have to say. I can. I will.
That's quite good. Ed, I want you to stand up. I want you to look at this guy here. Just stand up for him. This is my son, my best son. Just look at him. How old are you, sir? You are what? How old?
I'm 17.
17 years old. You are seeing Cecil John Rhodes' picture there. He was probably around 40 something then. But that dream did not start when he was 40 something. On the 1st of September 1870, the guy stepped for the first time on African soil. He was 17 years old. He was born with lung problems. He was asthmatic. He had a weak heart. They did not expect him to reach the age of 20. He could not proceed with school in England. His father was an Anglican priest, and his elder brother had moved to South Africa and was running a cotton farm. And his father felt it might give you a chance. I'm just saying that's the picture there. Go, join your brother in South Africa. Help him on the farm. But the weather there might help strengthen your health and maybe give you a chance at life. That's all they wanted, their son to live a bit longer. He was a weakling. He was even, small in stature. They say his presence was, he had a very, very strong presence, but his stature was so small. And you see him from a distance, he would not intimidate you at all. I'm saying that's the picture of the person who came from England and the conditions under which they came. He had a few thousands, 3 or so 2,000 pounds in his pocket that his aunt had lent him just to be able to. So by the time he got to South Africa, before he even saw his brother, he stayed with the Surveyor General for a few weeks or months. And I think he was a bit inquisitive, because what was to happen from that time onwards was to change this young boy as we know him. By the time he got to his brother's farm, his brother was not there. His brother had left for Kimberley to join the diamond rush. Diamonds, South Africa. And I want you to realize that during this same time, even King Loben Muller was actually sending his own team to Kimberley to look for gold and diamonds. So everyone was in this same rush, including the people that were here in Zimbabwe. So he worked for a year on that farm, proved himself, but cotton was not his thing. And he made the choice, I'm going to follow my brother. He left Natal and he went to Kimberley to the diamond fields. And he started helping his brother on his claim. But because he had stayed with the Surveyor General, instead of just being a Mkorokoza or Shandra, his brother, he started buying his own claims. Buying his own claims. Buying his own claims. Buying his own claims. By the time he was 20 years old, he was controlling a significant portion of the diamond field. By age 21, he was influencing the global diamond supply as we knew it. He decided to go back to Oxford, Kutashi University. His first lecture became the inspiration yake kuti I'm going to take that up. And he did not finish the first semester. He came back to Africa after the influence of the lecturer. Now, I want you to realize at the end of my presentation, I will talk about what inspires me and then put a challenge in terms of what inspires you. But I'm saying each and every one of us has a role to inspire those people that we can speak to or that we can share knowledge and experiences with. You've got different platforms, different spheres of influence. Why I've brought these young people here, including my son, is to give them a day like that, which they can learn something and go out saying, I might be small, I might still be young, but I have a dream. We might be surrounded by challenges in Zimbabwe. They might not know the good of life as they think they would know it. But if they have a dream, but if they have a challenge, but if they go out there, even if we get scholarships for them and we send them out of this country, they have an agenda. I was at the Gweru Poly Symposium Day the other week, just this last month. And as I broke the ice during the discussions, my first words were that I am happy that they were teaching patriotism as well as entrepreneurship. People don't understand that. They think it's a political issue. But this is something that is key. These guys must have an agenda even if they go out of this country. They must have our own agenda. This guy had a gun, we will not send them with guns. This guy had other ulterior motives and became abusive. This became a bad thing for us all. But what I'm saying is the spirit of entrepreneurship that was there and the kind of agenda that was there to say, as I go back there, I will not even finish this thing now. He later went back to Oxford to finish, but he said, because of this thing that has been put in my mind, I am going there with a mission. And his mission was, I'm going to take it from Cape to Kaya, and I'm going to reclaim America and Australia and the other islands and bring them back under our rule. So in other words, he was so determined to dominate. And that attitude must be there. That agenda must be there in terms of us now saying, hey, we've got markets to conquer. The global market is now set before us. But do we have our own agenda as a nation? Do we have our own agenda as people? Do we have our own agenda as Gweru, for example? So we've got to be able to look at this guy and say, hey, what do we learn from him? Okay? There are negative things that he influenced. When we now look at colonialism, we look at all the things that then later happened to us and within this nation. But what can we learn that can help us turn our negative issues into fuel for success? Those are the challenges that I'm posting. And everyone who has shaped this world, I'm writing 3 books on entrepreneurship. One of them is called The Spirit of Entrepreneurship. Lessons from Slavery and Colonization. And these are part of the case studies, the Cecil John Rhodes and all. I'm saying we can learn. From slavery we can learn. These guys had a system. They had economic issues in their own region. And they decided, hey, We need manpower. Those are the machines that they knew at that point in time. And they could be found, the strongest were found here in Africa. But the people who gave them that information were explorers. People like Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama. The guys who traveled the world. We should not be afraid. I'm saying Zimbabweans are we are looking too much inside. We are so much stuck in our own challenges, so much that we cannot dare to go out there and look for new opportunities with an agenda to say we want to bring development, we want to bring resources, we want to bring success back to our own. And that must be clear in whatever we are doing. So all these things should teach us. I've put an example there to say, look, we can leverage technology. China is one of the closed economies that we can ever know. But I'm challenged by a guy called Ma, popularly known as Jack Ma, the CEO and founder of Alibaba and Taobao and so forth. He tried to sit down, say Cecil John Rhodes. So my challenge is to say, it's not about the body, it's not about the health, it's not about the stature. This guy said, I will not die. By the time I die, I would have made a big difference. And indeed, by the time, he died at age 48, Cecil John Rhodes. But he had left close to $1 billion in a scholarship. Up to now, the Rhodes Scholarship Fund is still sending students to Oxford every year from countries that were colonized by the British. From the idea of a weakling who was inspired by a lecturer and who said, I am going to do something about it. So I'm saying, I might not give you money today, but if I can be able to inspire you to look, regardless of your circumstances and your background and what you've gone through, or how you were born or where you were born, or how much people have given you a chance. That's why I was talking about Jack Ma. He was rejected in 30 different job applications in China. He even tried to be a policeman, but he was turned down. He even tried to, when McDonald's or KFC first opened in China, he said, I applied, and only of the 7 people that applied, I was the only one who was turned down. Then one day he heard about the internet. He didn't understand what it was. And he did all he could to travel to America just to find out about this thing called the internet. And within 3 years, he had left his government job and decided, I'm going to start this company. And within 2 years of starting that company, he went back to America and he said, look, I have this idea, I'm raising funds. And he raised what was then the biggest raising of capital on Wall Street, $25 billion in capital, for an idea that was not yet bringing in any fruit. And right now, the rest is history. He's the richest man in Asia, 14th in the world. But he was rejected. But he took his opportunities. And if we come closer to home, we should not be afraid to dream, even if things are the way they are in our economy. Answers are within us and amongst ourselves. The spirit of entrepreneurship must begin to rise in people, challenge things as we know them, begin to act on our ideas, and see if we cannot bring something out of them. Things are bad, but I see INSCO is doing very well. See, Strive Masiwa is doing very well, not just in Zimbabwe, but globally. So it means these people have something that they're doing well. even if things are negative in the operating environment. And things are not just bad in Zimbabwe. They are bad elsewhere, in many other places. But you find in all those places, there are people who are thriving. There are businesses that are thriving in every sector. There are people who are doing enough of the right thing, igniting enough of the right opportunities, seeking enough of the right collaborations. And that is what I'm hoping out of this day we can begin to ignite amongst ourselves. As I try to go around, you find some people are not here who wanted to be here, but people didn't understand what is this all about. Isn't it political? Is it okay if I come? Won't it put me into problems? And I said, hey. I tried to do this before, but managers did not really understand and appreciate what I was trying to do. No, guys, come, let's meet, let's have drinks, let's talk, let's exchange ideas. But now, all I am saying is, out of every problem, if we really put our minds together and we start doing the right things, there are opportunities, and if we act on them, and if we create loud enough a voice as united entrepreneurs. I was looking at whether it's the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs in America, they came in groups. When Econet started, they did the same. They were in a cluster. When Kingdom started, they were in a cluster. When Natalia Access were trying to start, they were in a cluster. People with common minds, with a common vision, who said, let's come together and work this thing out and bring it to fruition and success. But I see too much unhealthy competitiveness. Everyone has their own idea and they want to do it alone. And we miss the synergies. I don't know, maybe you can interject me at this point in time.
Yes, very true. I have also seen it, especially in the field of work. You find sometimes maybe it's because we don't have the information. Okay, but I feel if we don't have the information as individuals, why don't we come into groups? Groups we can pull together with different pieces of information each and every individual has. Then bring that together. It becomes an opportunity to us. I have seen an attempt by government to try and bring entrepreneurs in various fields or various areas of specialization. Please form clusters. And from those clusters, so many opportunities can arise. Be it ideas, be it the resources. Imagine if we were to pull together whatever monies that we have, how much would we have and what can we do with it? So I'm thinking operating as individuals will only work to impose limits on us, on the potential that is in us. So we have to come together. I think it's an important fact that you are bringing on.
So already we are learning.
Yeah,
And from experience,
I have seen it all the time.
we need to come together. Yes, the idea might be yours. I'm challenged. The idea of Berry International Book Festival was not mine. It was his idea. He is the brainchild behind Berry International Book Festival. But he said, if this thing is going to become what it's supposed to become, I think I need other ideas and other people to come on board. And that's why now we can say, okay, we are co-founders, but really it's his brainchild. At the end of the day, I might be chairing it, but it's his brainchild. Why? To try and give this thing the kind of chance that it deserves. So it doesn't matter what line or what area you are in. Others were thinking, maybe my idea will be stolen, my idea will be taken from me. But what's the point? Personally, I've said I would rather say that was my idea, someone running with it, than to say I used to have an idea when it did not come to be anything at all. So it's important that we... Now, my argument is to say we need to look at these ideas and be able to sift them. I'm using an acronym, ideas, to say there are ideas that are going to have a quantum effect on Zimbabwe's economy, and there are ideas that will only have an effect on my own life and my family, and we must separate those two. And I think when we look at the informal and SME sector, I'm saying, yes, let's define them the way they have been defined formally in terms of sizes and so forth, but when we look at the ideas, let's split them between ideas that have effect, subsistence ideas, where I'm saying, I'm just trying to look at my life in Never Now project, more self-employment ideas. Then there are ideas which I'm calling those micro ideas. I'm not saying that's the definition of micro enterprise. I'm saying it's a micro idea. It's an idea that makes me do business, but for subsistence purposes. Do vakawanda streets vendors and msika. Do majority yes you. But these are not the kind of ideas that will ignite the economy in a way that we want it to be ignited. We separate those ideas from the ideas and look to my macro ideas. Ideas that can have an impact or that can influence things at a macro level. Takutarisa manje kugenerate aggregate demand, because that's one of our biggest problems currently in Zimbabwe. That there isn't enough demand of goods and services. Saka tita hakuna business, hakuna mari, hakuna markets ezvino, hakuna mabasa. Why? Because you can't grow a company kana kusina aggregate. People who are increasingly demanding the products and the services that you offer. So at the end of the day, we need to be able to say welcome. We need to be able to say welcome, Steve. We need to be able to say, look, Atina, we need more of such ideas. And acronym that I'm using in my proposals, the ideas, is to say they have to be innovative. They have to be inspiring enough. By innovation, I just put it, they should really focus on things that haven't been seen before. We're saying even the old things that we are doing, can we do them differently? Can we look at the machinery that we are using and be innovative in terms of the processes that we're using? And that will give us leverage, that will give us a bit more of an advantage and competitiveness to compare with global. So as entrepreneurs and as people who are doing different things in different areas, let's look at it that way. D, I'm saying they have to be disruptive. In other words, they challenge the norm and say, we have always sold things face to face. Why can't we sell using technology? We have always used manual things, but why can't we do it this way? We've always relied on cash. Why can't we be a cashless economy? So in other words, a disruptive idea or business model is one that challenges the status quo. Things have always been done in this way. Why can't they be done differently?